got sunshine on a cloudy day. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, not only do I have sunshine on a cloudy day, but we have part 3 for Invaders 4. We're going to learn how to move left, right, and down. Let's take a look and see what we've got. Here's all the stuff that you have to do. Okay, you can read through this and see this. Okay, we need to make the invaders move back and forth. When any one invader gets the edge, we need to make all the invaders move down and switch directions at the same time. Alright, so here's how it's going to work. Okay, so one of these guys, any one of these guys gets to the edge of the world, right? So each of these guys has his own instance variable that says moving right. Okay, so we need to make each one of these guys moving right instance variable flip-flop at the exact same time. So this is going to go moving right from true to false, moving right from true to false, all right? So we need that to happen. So number one, invader hits the edge of the world. Okay, so he is going to tell space, hey space, I just hit the edge of the world and I need you to flip-flop this thing. So space is going to kind of do it. So space is going to have, it's also going to hold an instance variable called moving right. And so space's instance variable moving right is going to get flip-flopped. So moving right goes from true to false. Okay? So what happens next is, I don't know, let's see. Okay, so now the world is going to tell all the invaders at the same time. He's basically going to say, hey, my moving right is false, now your 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 moving right is false, and now your moving right is false. And then once these guys moving right is false, they'll handle themselves and all move together. Okay? How can we tell all the invaders to all do something at once? The answer is we can use an array and a loop. So if we're going to use an array and a loop, each of these invaders needs to be stuck into an array. Okay? So once they're in an array, we're going to say invader array I dot move right. So we're going to go, so blah blah blah. We're going to go. So we're going to flip through the loop. Okay. So that's how we're going to do it. Now let's take a look at the code. Okay. So now once we did that, then their moving right is false. They all switch to that thing. Okay. So invaders check their own, yeah, and they move accordingly. Okay. Write down in your own words what this slide is telling you. Okay. What did you just learn? All right. Now write that down, and now I'm going to show you what this looks like in the real world. So let's take a look at, let's start off with the invader. Okay, so the invader is this. So look, when does the invader hit the edge of the world? Here's my, I'm in my invader, here's my at world edge method. So here's what I do. I say space equals space get world. So basically I'm just saying I'm taking space and sticking it in a box called space so I can talk to it. And then when I say, hey, space in the box, switch direction. Okay, and so what that does is a very simple thing. Let's go into space. Let's look at the space switch direction method. Alright, so we got to find space switch direction. See if you can find it. I can't find it, can you? Okay, so here's my space switch direction. Alright, I have to put a little delay on there. That little delay helps me do it. Otherwise it kind of crashes. Anyway, so look what I do. The first thing I do is I say moving right equals the opposite of moving right. So space has its own instance variable now called moving right. He's keeping track of what all the invaders should be doing, and we just flip-flopped it. Okay? And so now the next thing we need to do is we need to get all these guys into an array. So look, here's the code. We have an array where we're going to stick all the invaders. Every invader in the world goes into an array. So we stick them in a box, right? So then we come back down here, and so now look what we do. We start our loop. Okay, so we go I to the length of this. So we get through and we say, hey, I want to talk to this invader, I want to talk to that invader. All right, now look, here's one of the things that I did. If invader array dot inworld equals true. Now this if you don't put this, it's going to cause a problem because, so for example, so like if let's say I shoot this invader right here. Well, if he's not in the world, do I want to move him down and switch him over? No, I can't do that. So when I blow him up, I have to turn that false. So let's take a look at the invader again, and let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's go to invader. So I go to invader, and the first thing I have to do that is I say public boolean in world, and in world is true in the constructor, but as soon as I kill him, so if I go to the cannon bullet, where's my cannon bullet? So if I go to my cannon bullet, as soon as I kill him, so let's take a look. So where do I kill him? Move bullet, check collision. Let's go to check collision. All right. So look. So when I kill the invader, invader.inworld equals false. So as soon as my bullet, so this is my cannon bullet, as soon as my cannon bullet hits the invader, it says it's false. So I don't talk to it. If an invader is not in the world anymore, I don't try to talk to it and get it to do stuff. Okay. So if the invaders is still in the world, then take the invaders moving right and make it equal to the spaces moving right. So you go to all of them and you say what you want to do, and then we're also going to move them all down at the same time. Okay. Anyway, so there's that. I think that's it. Okay. See if you guys can do it. Ready? Let me double check. Let me go back to the PowerPoint. Make sure we got everything. I can't even find my PowerPoint. Here it is. I think that is it. Yeah, that was it. All right. Ready? Break.